Welcome to the deep dive. We often look at big events, but sometimes it's the tiny details, right? The things you barely notice.
Absolutely. Like imagine you're just, walking down a street in New York City. Pretty normal day.
Right, maybe getting a coffee.
And you see a guy unlock a car, get in, drive away.
Yeah.
Happens 1,000 times a day.
Totally mundane.
But what if that specific moment, that tiny observation, was actually the key? The first thread you pull that unravels this huge, complex web of secrets and deceit.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. It starts as what looks like a straightforward, if terrifying, high-stakes kidnapping.
But it spirals very quickly into something much darker, more personal. It's a story about betrayal, deep-seated revenge, and ultimately about how far people will actually go to get free.
Yeah, so our mission today is to unpack all those layers. We want to show you how the initial story you hear gets completely flipped on its head by facts that come out later.
And how details that seem insignificant at first, they become like the absolute crucial clues.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're on the west side of 6th Avenue in NYC, between Bleecker and Houston. There's this cafe.
And Jack Reacher, our main guy, he's got this incredible eye for detail. He sees that car thing we mentioned, just a flicker of movement.
Then, fast forward just 24 hours, he's back at the same cafe.
And this time, a man approaches him, John Gregory. British, very clipped accent.
XSS, right, the elite guys.
Exactly. Now he's EVP for Operational Security Consultants, OSC. You can just tell from his eyes, that sort of elite infantry veteran look. He means business.
And he gets straight to it, doesn't he? No small talk.
Nope. He lays out the crisis.
Yeah.
His boss, Edward Lane, well, his wife, Kate, and his daughter, Jade, have been kidnapped.
And the car Reacher saw yesterday?
That was carrying the first ransom payment, $1 million. Cash.
Wow.
But here's the kicker. It's been 24 hours since that drop. And the kidnappers, radio silence, haven't called back.
That silence must be terrifying for the family. For Lane.
Absolutely deafening. And Lane himself, he's quite the figure. American accent, maybe Southern, Arkansas, Tennessee. But it's overlaid with this kind of military neutrality.
And clearly wealthy. Jaguar, Mercedes, BMW, lives in the Dakota, that famous building.
Right, big money. But here's where it gets, really interesting and maybe a bit strange. Lane tells Reacher this has happened before.
His first wife, Anne.
Yeah, 5 years ago. Taken in just the same way, Lane says. And he explicitly states the FBI screwed up somehow. Anne died.
So that's his reason. He cannot involve the police this time. He's adamant.
That immediate distrust, it's a huge signal, isn't it? Sets a really different tone.
Mm-hmm. And Reacher, with his background, he picks up on these things instantly, starts making deductions.
It's like about Taylor, Lane's security guy who was supposed to be with Kate, ex-ass too.
Reacher figures he's already dead.
Instantly. His logic. They wouldn't keep him alive. No reason for it. Too dangerous.
No.
He's thinking like the opposition. Why leave a trained witness a potential threat?
Makes sense. Cold, but logical. And he applies that same thinking to the kidnapper's strategy.
Yeah, he looks at the timeline. The abduction happens before 11 a.m. First call isn't for 5 hours. Then the ransom drop instructions come 6 hours after that.
So delays, calculated delays.
Exactly. Reacher figures 3 of them, needs coordination. And they're driving, creating distance. He guesses a minimum 200 miles upstate. Make it look like they're far away.
He's really inside their heads.
It's kind of scary how quick he is. And when a second call eventually does come through,
Reacher predicts the next demand.
calmly, $5 million. He says 1, 5, 10, 20. That's how people think.
Standard escalation.
Chilling. So think about this for a second. What does this initial setup tell you? You've got Lane the victim, but he's immediately distrustful of the authorities.
It really highlights how kidnappers or, well, these people, might exploit existing issues. Lane's history with the FBI, his paranoia. It's a vulnerability they seem to know about. Yeah, the victim narrative itself might be more complicated than it looks. But then, the story starts to unravel. Cracks appear. Big ones.
Enter Patty Joseph. She's Ann Lane's sister. And she lives right across the street from Lane's apartment in the Dakota. She sees things.
A meticulous observer, the notes say.
Yeah.
And she contacts the NYPD, Detective Brewer.
Yeah, and she drops an absolute bombshell, completely flips the script. She says, Anne wasn't kidnapped 5 years ago. That was just a cover story.
Wait, what?
She flat out says, Lane murdered her. She calls Lane a sordid egomaniac weasel and says he ran his marriage like a military operation.
Wow, okay. That is not the picture Lane painted.
Not even close. And Detective Brewer, despite the jurisdictional mess kidnapping his FBI, homicide could be New Jersey PD. He confirms parts of Betty's story.
What does he confirm?
Anne's body was found. Vacant lot in New Jersey. Decomposed for about a month.
Hmm?
And the cause of death.
Gunshot.
Yep. Field GSW to the back of the head. Likely a 9mm. This directly contradicts Lane's FBI screwed-up kidnapping story.
So Lane's narrative about the first wife is shaky, at best. Maybe an outright lie.
It certainly looks that way. And then Reacher meets Lauren Pauling.
The retired FBI agent who led Anne's original case.
That's her. And her assessment of Lane. Even more damning, she calls him borderline mentally ill with a psychotic need to command.
And his men, the security team.
Pauling says they're a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic. Basically, loyal to Lane, maybe blindly loyal, stuck in old military codes, not exactly critical thinkers.
Okay, so Lane's character is looking worse and worse. What about his business? OSC.
Pauling sheds light on that, too. Turns out Lane's on a Pentagon shit list.
Why?
For taking money from a cartel he was supposedly hired to fight in Colombia, then shady subcontracting in Iraq, Afghanistan. Made a fortune somewhere in Africa once, apparently, but now he's at the bottom of the pile.
So a mercenary with flexible ethics.
Or maybe not at all. It adds this whole layer of ruthlessness. This guy operates outside normal rules.
But Reacher notices something else, doesn't he? A detail about this kidnapping. The current one.
Yes. This is brilliant. He realizes the kidnappers, this time around, never actually said the classic line, "No cops."
Huh. Why is that important?
Reacher thinks. Which suggests these people knew the story from 5 years ago. They knew Lane wouldn't go to the cops anyway, so it didn't need saying.
Whoa. So the kidnappers knew Lane's history, knew his paranoia about the police.
Exactly. It strongly hints that maybe this isn't random. Maybe it's someone who knows Lane, knows his secrets, knows the real story of what happened to Anne.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, right? You've got Lane's story, Patty's story, the FBI's story. How does all this conflicting information make you feel?
It just shows how truth isn't simple. It's layered. People construct narratives to protect themselves, to manipulate. You have to peel it all back.
And the peeling back continues. We get into the real conspiracy now. Betrayal, survival.
Yeah, Reacher starts digging into Lane's past operations. He learns about 2 soldiers from Lane's A-team, Hobart and Knight. They didn't come back from a mission overseas.
When was this?
Shortly after Anne's death 5 years ago. And Patty Joseph, Anne's sister. She believes Lane deliberately made sure they didn't come back.
To silence them. Because they knew something about Anne's murder.
That's the suspicion. And it gets confirmed later, in a way. Burke, one of Lane's current guys, confronts Lane. He says, "You left 2 guys behind alive." He guesses it was Hobart and Knight. And maybe they're back.
Back for revenge.
Exactly. And Reacher actually finds one of them. Hobart. He's alive, but it's horrific, severely mutilated, living in this small apartment.
What happened to him?
Hobart tells Reacher this awful story. Lane betrayed them during his civil war in Ouagadougou O-Town, Burkina Faso. Just abandoned them.
Left them for dead.
Worse, left them to be captured by rebels. They were tortured.
Yeah.
And then the rebels amputated their hands and feet as birthday
Oh
presents.
my God. That's unbelievable cruelty, both Lane's abandonment and the torture.
Utterly brutal. But Hobart reveals something else. Knight, the other soldier left behind, he confessed something to Hobart before he died.
What did he confess?
Knight admitted he was the one who killed Anne Lane 5 years ago.
What? But why?
On Lane's orders. Because, Knight said, Anne wanted out. Out of the marriage, out of Lane's control.
So Lane ordered his own wife's murder and Knight carried it out.
That's the story. And Knight left a calling card on Anne's body, a 3 of clubs playing card. It was his nickname in the Corps.
Chilling. All the pieces are starting to fit into a very dark picture.
And Reacher keeps digging, methodically. He goes back to that fire plug near the cafe, the one used for all the ransom drops. 3 times.
He figures there must be an observation point nearby.
Exactly. He and Pauling work it out. There's an empty apartment directly across the street, rented recently.
By who?
A man giving the name Leroy Clarkson. And the description, the key thing is the building manager said he couldn't speak.
Couldn't speak. Mute.
That's what they assumed. But Reacher has this incredible insight, the aha moment. He realizes it wasn't that the guy couldn't speak.
It was.
He couldn't afford to speak. Why? Because of his accent. The silent man, Reacher deduces, was Kaler. The British ex-SAS guard. The one everyone presumed was dead. He couldn't risk anyone hearing his distinct British accent.
Whoa. Okay, so Taylor faked his death. He was in on it.
Looks like it. But then, who was making the ransom calls? The voice on the phone had an American accent.
Right. So if Taylor couldn't talk.
It was Kate Lane,
Yeah.
Edward Lane's current wife, the supposed kidnap victim,
No way.
using a commercial voice-altering machine,
Yeah.
changing her voice to sound like an American man.
This is insane. So the whole
It
kidnapping.
was a complete performance,
Yeah.
staged. And there's more proof. Jay's room, the daughter's room.
What about it?
Reacher notices all the toys are brand new. No old, well-loved favorites.
Which means?
She must have packed her favorite toys. Kids don't leave their most treasured things behind if they're suddenly snatched. It suggests she knew they were leaving.
And her drawings.
Even more revealing. Crayon drawings of Grange Farm that becomes important later. A drawing of a family group, but the man has distinctive dentistry that matches Taylor, not Lane. There's an airplane. And this double vision picture.
Double vision.
The two families drawn side by side, the Jacksons' friends in England, and a new family, Kate, Jade, and Taylor. It's like Jade was processing their new life.
So the motive becomes clear. Kate found out what Lane did to Anne, probably from Dee Marie Hobart's sister.
Right, and she was already having an affair with Taylor. They planned their escape together.
And the ransom money?
That wasn't ransom. That was Kate's exit fund. Her alimony, you could call it.
Yeah.
Her share of Lane's dirty money to start a new life.
They even left their passports out to be found.
Yeah, a deliberate false trail. Make it look like they fled the country, maybe South America, but they were heading somewhere else entirely.
So they weren't kidnapped, they were...
Rescued,
Yeah.
liberated, set free by themselves.
Wow. Just think about the planning, the nerve, the sheer resilience it took to pull that off. Getting justice, or maybe revenge, completely outside the system.
It's an incredible story of turning the tables, isn't it? Using the abuser's own methods against him.
So the truth is out, but it's not over. Lane isn't the type to just let them go.
No way. Reacher and Pauling figure out where Cade and Taylor likely went. Grange Farm in Norfolk, England. It belongs to Tony and Susan Jackson. Tony's another ex-SAS buddy of Taylor's.
And Lane.
He and his remaining mercenaries, Gregory, Burke, the others, they're right behind them, heading to England too, for a final confrontation.
So Grange Farm becomes the setting for a showdown.
Pretty much. It turns into a fortress. Taylor, Tony Jackson, Pauling, they dig in. They've got weapons hidden. G-36s, MP5s, even old Enfield rifles.
They're ready for a fight?
They have to be. They even set up a new bird scare machine as a decoy, something to create noise and confusion when Lane arrives.
And Lane does arrive with his crew.
Yep. Gregory, Groom, Burke, Kowalski, Addison, Perez, the whole remaining team. It's a tense siege situation.
And Lane, true to form, tries psychological warfare.
Oh, yeah. In a moment of pure cruelty, he shouts out that Kate is pregnant.
With Taylor's child.
Exactly. Trying to destabilize Taylor, maybe turn Kate against him. Horrible stuff.
But Reacher is there too, isn't he?
He is. And he does what he does best. He uses his brain, his skills, outmaneuvers them.
How?
He makes Lane's men think he's leaving, driving away, but he circles back on foot, catches them off guard.
And takes them out.
He deals with the main threats, kills Lane and kills Gregory. Decisive action. Ends the siege. Ends Lane's pursuit.
So the immediate danger is over. What happens then? The aftermath.
It's quite something. The survivors, Kate, Taylor, Jade, the Jacksons, Pauling, Reacher, they work all night.
Cleaning up.
And securing their future. They recover the remaining $800,000 of Lane's money. Kate's alimony.
And the bodies. Lane and Gregory.
They bury them. Deet, along with their cars, in a fallow field on the farm. Erase them completely.
Wow, covering everything up.
Creating a new reality. And then we jump forward a year.
What's the scene like?
The field where the bodies are buried, it's been plowed over. Crops are growing, life goes on, and the new family is thriving.
Kate and Taylor.
Yep, Kate and Graham Taylor, Tony and Susan Jackson, their daughters Jade and Melody, and a new baby,
Kate and Taylor's baby.
a healthy 5-month-old son, named Jack.
After Reacher.
Seems likely, doesn't it? A little nod to the man who helped make it possible.
And Reacher himself.
Gone. Vanished. Typical Reacher. Job done, moved on. Left them to their peace.
So it's a kind of happy ending, but a very unconventional one. What does that make you think about, justice?
It really forces you to consider it, doesn't it? Is this justice? It's certainly not legal justice, but maybe in this specific twisted situation, it's the only kind they could get.
A stark contrast. Lane's violent end versus Kate and Taylor building a new life. It says a lot about betrayal's cost and the strength people find in fighting back, forming these unexpected alliances. So let's wrap this up. We started with a simple observation, didn't we? A guy getting into a car on a New York street.
Yeah, something you'd see and forget instantly.
And look where it led us. Through this absolute maze of secrets, lies, horrific betrayals from what looked like a straightforward kidnapping
Calculated murder, years of deception,
to unbelievable survival, intricate revenge plotting.
and finally, this hard-won, maybe morally ambiguous, peace built on the buried bodies of the oppressors.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? Appearances are so deceiving. Loyalty can be twisted into something awful. And sometimes, maybe the only way to get free, to find justice, is to take the really, really hard way.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other truths, what other complex stories are hiding just beneath the surface of the ordinary things we see every day?
What might you uncover if you just looked a little closer?
A really provocative thought to leave things on. The layers of what people do, why they do it, it's endlessly fascinating and often deeply unsettling.
Definitely something to think about. Until next time, keep digging.